John, I've not known you long, but I love you already. But I have to say that it's disingenuous to claim that the biases that are exhibited on Fox News are any different from the biases exhibited on MSNBC. It's difficult to suggest that these corporations operate as anything other than mouthpieces for their affiliate owners in BlackRock and Vanguard. and unless we start to embrace plainly...
It's not about bias. It's a false equivalency because you don't actually know anything about any of these organizations you're talking about. Even on MSNBC once. Big fucking deal.
My darling, it was more than enough.
You can't come up with that. You don't have a single actual fact.
Do you want an example? Do you want an example?
And unfortunately, it cuts off there. You don't know anything about these organizations except he does a podcast every single week. I get the alert on my phone for some reason from Rumble because Rumble is like that for some reason. He does a podcast every single week talking about the news. About CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post, all these news companies. You don't know anything about it. He just says this to defend MSNBC, which of course, Rachel Maddow, the taxes, they were going to be huge. Do they know that they're lying? How are you going to prove that? How are you going to prove that somebody...
That's the catch. That's exactly the catch. That was the point. Well, no, that was just the point that I was going to make is like he said, give me an example of one of these MSNBC hosts saying something they knew was a lie, and that's the catch. Because all you can say is, I didn't know it was wrong at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's this guy. I thought I saw a clip though where he does give the examples where it goes a little like I didn't see that beginning part. I saw the end part where he actually did give the example, and I forgot what it was now. But we all know they completely lie, or they do what you could call technically the truth. Where it's the framing is really weird, like they'll do, Donald Trump said on Tuesday that he was going to make or you know what I mean? They'll throw in like one qualifier. So then that makes it untrue. So it makes the entire statement. It's very weird. It's very manipulative. I can't think of a perfect example right now. So I'm glad I'm not up there with that weird MSNBC guy because I don't have an example at the moment. But I mean, it's so obvious. Like we're too eyeball deep in it. You can't even, I mean, every single time we look at one of these stories, it's always taken with a grain of salt. When is the last time you looked at any story from any outlet and just been like, oh yeah, they've done a perfect job and like I fully trust them. There's a couple outlets that are better than others, obviously, but everything has been tainted. Every single thing. It's all a game. It's all manipulation. It's all propaganda. There's no way for you to actually know what's going on unless you spend hours a week in this stuff trying to decipher, comparing articles and all sorts of things, and you still don't know. And that's because these journalists, these corporate media journalists, are pretending, just like the politicians do, that they're not humans, right? And that's why everything's so corrupt. They're pretending like, well, we're journalists and we stand up for the truth. No, you don't. You have a bias. You're a human being, just like the politicians, right? Like, this is public service. We just want to help the people until you get some backdoor deal to cut with some weird pharmaceutical company, and then all of your weird your pretend morals, I should say, just get thrown out the window. So there's no possible way. I don't know if that's just like a black pill thing, but there's no way out of this, bro. Like and especially in a place like New York or California, the political regime, it's just rotten from the inside out. There's no fixing it. I'm sure you guys in Canada probably are. It's over. We're just riding it out to the end now, bro. There's no Donald Trump could come in. Nothing's going to change. It's not going to matter.